If you're a pastor or church leader, you already know that giving is a big part of life in the church. And if you make giving to your church or to your ministry more seamless and more streamlined, you're going to make it that much easier for people to do, number one, what they're called to do in Scripture. But number two, it's going to help you to reach your business and ministry impact goals so that you can more effectively reach your community and do missions and ministry more effectively, both locally and globally. Online giving is on the rise. In fact, here's a statistic from nonprofitsource.com. It says nearly 50% of all church giving transactions are made with a card. So gone are the days of people bringing cash or bringing checks to church, to the in-person gathering of your ministry or of your church. People are swiping cards. They're setting up automatic payments through an online giving platform. So now the question is, if we know that online giving is a big deal and the majority of people are actually starting to want to give online and set up things through automatic recurring payments, then which online giving platform is the best platform for your church? There's tons of platforms out there. You're familiar with several of them. And so in this video, we're going to be walking through what are the top platforms for receiving donations, tithes, and offerings online, and which one is best for your church. We're going to give you some really practical things that you want to look out for. And then we're going to be comparing some of the top options out there in terms of transaction fees and rev share and everything else. So if that interests you, if you want to figure out which online platform is right for receiving tithes and offerings and donations to your church, then stay tuned for the rest of this video. Hey everyone, Brandon here with Richie Creative. Hey, if you're new to the channel, this is a resource for you, the pastor, for you, the church leader, to put some practical tools and training videos in your hands to help you more effectively reach your community, get more giving online, get more people to your events through your website and through your website design strategy. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so that you never miss a training video. So again, later in this video, we're going to be comparing some of the top online giving platforms that you could pick as a church or as a ministry, which one might be best for your specific church. But before we do that, some things that you really want to look out for. The first thing is features. Which features are the ones that you want to make sure that your online giving platform is implementing? So here are a few features that I would look out for. Most online giving providers are going to have at least one or even many of these different features. But honestly, these are all features that are going to make giving more seamless and more easy for your church, which again will result in you getting more donations, and it's going to actually be a benefit to the people that are giving to your church because you're making it easier for them to do something that they're already called to do. So these features are, the first one is recurring giving, making sure that they can take recurring giving, not just a one-time gift. The second one is choosing a fund. So whether that's something like a Great Commission fund or just a general tithe and offering or some other fund that your church might offer. The second one is refunds. This is one that isn't talked about a whole lot. And honestly, it probably would be pretty rare for somebody to ask for a refund if they're making a gift to your church, but somebody might actually enter the wrong amount or something like that into their one-time gift. And so then you could refund them so that they can then give the appropriate amount that they actually intended to give. Then you also want to look for detailed reporting. So again, most of these online giving platforms are going to have these different features, but detailed reporting is nice because you can see who are the people that are actually giving, what are the demographics, the age, the gender, all of those different things. You can see your giving statistics over time. Is giving increasing since we've implemented different practices or different strategies, or has giving declined or decreased? So these kinds of statistics or detailed reporting can be a great way to see, are we on track or off track in relation to our goals? We did a whole video on setting goals for your church website, including online giving. So if you're interested in that, how to set goals and measure goals over time, and then kind of adjust goals accordingly if you're not actually reaching those goals, then you can check out that video. We'll put a link for that. Where you can kind of watch that full deep dive into setting goals for your church website. So again, these are the basics that, again, most of these online giving providers are going to have each of these, but I would just make sure that they have the features that you actually want them to have as a giving platform. But the second thing is a little bit more subjective. And so I would really spend some time looking at this, looking at examples of other churches and other ministries that are using this giving platform. And this is the usability. From a user's perspective, is it easy to navigate? Is it easy to give? Is there friction? What does the mobile environment look like? Again, 75% of people are coming to your church website from a smartphone or tablet. From a mobile environment, everything is seamless. It's easy to navigate. The embedded form on your website that people are actually putting in their card information in, from a mobile environment, it's easy to use. There's no friction. Text isn't too small, all of that. So again, you want to make sure that it has the right features, but you also want to make sure that from a usability standpoint, from the user's perspective, especially from a mobile environment, everything is seamless and there's no friction on your website. So in just a minute, we're going to be actually comparing some of the rev share and some of the transaction fees for some of the top giving platforms that are out there. But before we do that, one more tip that I would have is just do a little bit of research and see, do they actually line up with our beliefs? Is it an online giving platform that typically works with nonprofits, but also works with some churches, or is it geared towards churches specifically? So it doesn't really matter a whole lot, especially if it's kind of in the same belief system and it's just a different denomination. But I would say every church is different. So every church is in a different geographic location. So maybe there's a giving platform that could be a little bit more specific to your location, one that could be more specific to your denomination or to your demographics. So really think through all the things. What makes us unique as a church? What gives us a unique DNA as a church body? And then is there a giving platform that we just relate with and we connect with and we like the owners? We like what the company stands for. So those are all different things to kind of look through in terms of choosing a giving platform. Again, you want to make sure they have the right features. You want to make sure that the usability standpoint is the right fit for your church. And then thirdly, is there anything that kind of sets one giving platform apart from the other ones in terms of just who owns the company? You like them. They have great customer support. They work specifically with your specific kind of church in your area, with your denomination, anything like that. So without any further ado, this is the part of the video where we're going to compare 7 of the top online giving providers that you could pick as a church or as a ministry to receive gifts and donations to your church. So we're going to be looking at Tithely, Givelify, Subsplash, Planning Center, EasyTithe, Rebel Give, and Secure Give. Now we have them in this order based off of monthly subscriptions. So you'll see the first several don't have any monthly, and then there's sort of some monthly towards the middle, and then the monthly kind of grows from there. I will say just because there is a monthly fee or a monthly subscription associated with the service, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually going to cost more money in the long run. In fact, I would even venture to guess you would end up saving money if you end up doing a monthly that has a lower rev share and a lower percentage. So you really have to kind of do the math and kind of see what makes sense for our church, what makes sense for our ministry. And of course, there's all those other factors to consider that we talked about earlier in the video, aside from just the rev share, the percentages, and the monthly subscription fees. So starting with Tithely, if we look at Tithely, they have a 2.9% card transaction fee, which is actually pretty standard. You'll see a lot of these kind of have that same percentage, or at least kind of in that same ballpark. And then they have an additional 30 cents per transaction. That's the rev share. So that's the money that's kind of specifically going towards Tithely. And then you'll see that there's $0 a month. Now, I will say regarding Tithely, this would probably be my top recommendation if you're wanting a giving platform that is just easy to use, easy to navigate, has a great mobile experience, all of those different things. And honestly, the percentage and the rev share is not that bad. It's pretty industry standard. Tithely would probably be my number one pick. So again, this list on the screen is not necessarily in any kind of order, but again, Tithely would probably be my number one pick out of the 7 different providers that are currently on this list. Next up, we have Givelify, which has a 2.9% transaction fee and then an additional 30 cents per transaction with a $0 monthly subscription. So again, very similar to Tithely. The third one on the list is Subsplash. You might be a little bit confused why I included Subsplash here. Subsplash is a tool that you can build a website through, and you can set up your events and your sermon archive, and they also do giving as well. Now, you can sign up for just Subsplash Giving alone. Now, if you're just wanting to use Subsplash Giving alone without any of those other services, you'll see that the percentage for the transaction fee is a little bit higher. So it's 2.99%, and then again, a 30 cents per transaction, and then $0 a month to use Subsplash just for the giving feature. And again, if you were to use Subsplash for some of those other services as well, that 2.99 kind of goes down a little bit from there. So you can kind of look into that if you're interested in Subsplash for some other services. The next one on the list is Planning Center. We kind of included this for similar reasons. Not that it's the most popular or most common online giving platform, but you might be already using Planning Center for run sheets or for something else. So if you're already using this service for other things, it could be kind of a no-brainer to use them for giving as well, just to kind of keep things seamless. You'll see they actually have a pretty low transaction fee compared to the previous 3 that we talked about. They have a 2.15%. And then again, the rev share is right at 30 cents per transaction. Now, they do have a subscription, and this kind of changes depending on the size of your church, the amount of donations that you're getting on a monthly basis. So it goes all the way from $0 a month for a certain amount of donations per month, all the way up to $1.99 per month for larger churches or churches that kind of have more giving coming in regularly on a monthly basis for their church. Okay, the next one on the list is EasyTithe. So EasyTithe has a 2.6% transaction fee. Now, they have the highest rev share compared to all of the other ones on this particular list of 42 cents per individual transaction. And they also have you on a monthly. So you can see here that the bottom line monthly is $19 a month. It goes all the way up to $75 a month, again, depending on the size of the church, the amount of donations that you're actually going to be acquiring on a monthly basis. So I would say that rev share is pretty high. The transaction fee at 2.6%, it's a little bit lower than some of the other ones, but it's not so low that I would say that rev share actually makes sense, especially if you're kind of paying for that monthly fee as well. The next one on the list, Rebel Give, is actually very different from everything else we've covered so far. They actually have the lowest card processing rate or percentage out of all the different ones on this list, and they have zero rev share. So their card processing transaction fee is 1.9%. Again, no rev share, which again is sort of unheard of in this space. Their big heartbeat is really trying to help churches maximize the amount of donation that they're actually receiving and keeping as a church and as a ministry. So they're kind of disrupting the space in the sense that they don't have rev share. They have a very low card processing fee. They do have a monthly subscription. You'll see here the base subscription is $29 a month for a small church. And then depending on the amount of people that are actually visiting your church or giving at your church, that monthly fee could go all the way up to $199. So again, if you're trying to stay away from monthly subscriptions, maybe they're not the best fit. And then next up is Secure Give. This one's at the bottom of the list simply because their monthly fee is the highest, but they have a pretty low card transaction fee compared to some of the other ones we've looked at of 2%. Now, again, they have that rev share at 30 cents per transaction, and their monthly ranges from $149 to $299. Again, this really is just based off of the amount of donations that are coming to your church, how large your church is, how many members your church has, etc. So hopefully it was helpful just to look at that list of card processing fees, rev share, monthly subscriptions, just to kind of see, like, is there one of these that makes the most sense for your church and for your ministry? Again, my big recommendation for the ease of use would probably be Tithely. They are just super easy to integrate, super easy to embed on your website, very easy from a mobile environment and from a user experience perspective. So that'd be probably my top recommendation out of all of the different giving platforms on this list. But the fact that Rebel Give has such a low card processing fee and no rev share probably means that you're actually going to be getting actually more of the gifts and more of the donations into your church that people are actually donating, even though there is a monthly subscription, because again, most of the leakage that happens from these gifts and from these donations is happening from rev share and from card processing fees. And again, if you're already using something like Subsplash or Planning Center for other services or other things, maybe it just makes sense to continue to use them for online giving as well, just because you're kind of keeping it with one company. But again, online giving is a big deal. The majority of people, and it's going to continue growing over time, mark my words, the majority of people are giving with credit cards or giving with debit cards. They're giving in an online space and an online environment. So you want to make sure that you're picking a giving platform that, number one, has all of the features that you need. Number two, has a great user experience, especially from a mobile perspective. And then number three, you want to make sure that they're actually in tune with you and your beliefs, and they actually fit the unique DNA of your church. It's a company that you can actually relate with. They have great customer service, and basically they're just a great fit from a personality perspective with your church and with your ministry. And then lastly, you do want to consider the finance part of it. You want to be looking at rev share. You want to be looking at card transaction fees. You want to be looking at the monthly, and just find something that actually makes sense and kind of checks all of those different boxes for you, for your church, and for your ministry. Well, I do these free website strategy coaching calls with pastors and church leaders every single day. And one of the big things that I hear all the time is, I don't have any photos for my website. I know photos are a big deal. I know it's the best way to match the hospitality that somebody experiences in person on my website, but I don't have photos. What do I do about it? Well, the old way was purchasing stock photos, which honestly look like stock photos. Or the second option is actually purchasing a photo shoot from a photographer, which can be expensive. So for you, for the pastor, for the church leader, we put together a brand new resource called the Church Photo Vault, basically curated from all over the internet from photographers that actually want you to use their photos for your website, for social media, and for digital marketing campaigns. So if you want access to the Church Photo Vault, we'll put a link in the description where you can kind of click that, put in a little bit of information, you'll get access instantly to the vault, and you can start employing and deploying really great high quality pictures of people in church, at least just until you can actually get some really good high quality pictures of people in your actual congregation. This would be a great option in the meantime, the Church Photo Vault. Well, hopefully this video added a little bit of value to you and your church today. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. Remember, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Stay creative, and we'll catch you next time.